Hello everyone, my name is Danker, President of TWU Local 514. I've got Marla and Joe and Terry sitting here with me. We're going to cover several things that's on this board back here behind me, just things that come and go on a day in, day out basis. We were trying to do a look back at a month and a look forward to the upcoming month. We're trying to do this every month, just to kind of give you a heads up of what we're dealing with and what you're dealing with. So, Joe, would you like to go first?
Yep. Hello, everybody. I'm Joe Brown. I'm going to start out with Article 23, Vacation. Paragraph N in the M&R book as in November. Paragraph M in the stores book, Mike. If you want to use a day at a time day, it can be used in full day, half day, or an hour. If you want to use a comp day, it can only be used in full and half days.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
When you say hour at a time, I mean, they could put in for 2 hours or 3 hours.
Yes.
It's just in hour increments, chopped up in an hour at a
Yes.
time. So if a guy's 20 minutes late or needs something, he can't,
It's going to be an hour.
it's an hour. Okay.
For day at a time, not a comp day. All right, so when you're making that request, it needs to be from 14 days down with no less than 7, and they will let you know within 5 days of the requested day off. What else do I got? I think that's it for day at a time.
You got, is that it?
For day at a time, yes, that's all I got for
Anything else you
vacation.
wanna add?
Recalls, let's talk about recalls. So by now, everybody should have been recalled. You should have some kind of notice that you've been recalled. The company will, should send you something for you to start your background check and your fingerprints. If you haven't got that, then you need to let one of us know. And you will return to work as soon as your DOT has been cleared. If it hasn't been cleared, you will not come back. The DOT clearance is not in seniority order. So if you're having problems with that, you also need to let somebody know about that.
Hey, I want to add something to that because I don't think that we talked about it or wrote it on the board. So you're trying to find out an answer on, with Gene, on, we have aircraft cleaners that are going to go back to AMT, and there might have been some confusion with the company on, you got to do some background check as well, and there's some guys with
Fingerprints.
less seniority out in the system, so.
Right. So there's cleaners on property that do not have start dates yet, and there's people in the system that do have start dates. So we are working on that with HR right now to see what the holdup is. But I can tell you, until you get your DOT done, you will not start as an AMT. So, okay. What else do we got? On the vacation, if you put in for a day at a time and you get denied, then you can find someone to work your shift, and then you can still take that day at a time off. I think that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Terry?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about the voluntary early out program. It opened on February 5th, and it's going to close on February 26th. The effective date is going to be April 1st, so that means your last day of work possibly could be March 31st. They also have you wanting to sign a general release by March 22nd, 11:59 p.m. or Central Time. Also, you want to take a real close look at that general release, read it carefully, and make sure you understand it. Some things to do that you'll need to do before you come up from them days is you'll need to sign up for your retirement health reimbursement account. That's to get you anywhere from the $100,000 to $150,000 if you elect to do that. You need to request your pension either online or through the 800 number, 800-447-2000. If you need help requesting that pension online, come see us. One of the officers at the local will help you out there. You need to call Mark Loper at 918-491-0079. Mark will help you fill out the package and make sure that it's completed properly and goes through the first time. Make sure if you've been divorced, your quadro is on file. If you have a quadro on file, or just divorce decrees on file. Then again, you need to sign a general lease by 11:59 Central Time on 3/22. You need to print off the documents on JetNet. There's a lot of questions and answers there. There'll be good reference material for you in the future to look back on to see what your rights are and what benefits you have. Mark Loper's video we did yesterday is on our website, tw514.org. I suggest that you view that also. And there's another site that you'll want to get used to, because this is where you're going to track your RHRA money, and that's alite.com. You'll have to sign up. The password's unusual. It's not your JetNet password, so you have to create a new password. There's a lot of stipulations on that password, so read it and get your password set up. Also, if you don't have a Flex Spending card, that's the yellow and black Alite card, you'll need to order one of them. If you already have one, you can continue to use the one you have. Now let's talk about the leave of absence. The leave of absence, you have to March 12th, 2021, 11:59 Central Time to sign up for that. And if you have any questions, feel free to come to us here at the local officers, and we'll try to answer all your questions. Thank you.
One thing I'd like to add to Terry's description of all that, if you're considering taking the early out and retiring, I asked this question on a call with some international officers. The bankruptcy grievances, if you are one of the members that's been sent a letter by our old VP Ray Wilson, you're going to be awarded some stocks from the unsecured creditors pool at some time. We're trying to work to find out an answer on when that might happen. We were told last year it would happen February. It might happen this February. It might happen in March. But either way, it was supposed to be coming up, and we have been given a solid time on that. But you would not be forfeiting your rights to retain your award that would come down through the bankruptcy court up in New York if you chose to take this early out package. So, and also if you talk to anybody and it's a phone call, always try to follow up with an email. So if there's a problem or there's a difference in what they say things are going to be for you, that will give us a better starting point if we have it in some form of a email or written form that we can start off trying to find out why there's a difference. So thank you, Terry. Marla?
Hello, this is Marla Johnson with Local 514 here in Tulsa. First off, I want to talk about everybody should have received this in your AA email, and I've passed a couple out to some shop stewards, so they may be in your break room and they may not be. This is the federal mandated mask policy that the company is now using. This is as of February 10th. So the company is requiring that you wear a mask in all areas. No gaiters, no bandanas. I know we're here not wearing a mask. That's not our policy here at the Union Hall. When I'm on base, I'm required to wear a mask, and I do that. Now there are two exceptions to their rule. There's the exception when you're eating and drinking, and there's also an exception in offices, as for example a supervisor's office. As long as they're sitting and they're 6 feet apart, they do not have to wear a mask. I've got a lot of complaints about this. I understand it's kind of a double standard. Our office is the airplane, or our office is the tool room. We have office, as far as facility maintenance, they have their workshops. They don't consider those offices, guys. Those are your workplace, and you are required to wear a mask. We have had a member down in Texas being terminated for refusing to wear a mask. So please, please, please do not refuse. If they tell you to put your mask on, please have a mask there available and put it and cover your nose and your mouth and just comply. I'd hate for somebody to lose a job over a mask. Hopefully we'll be done with this mask policy sooner rather than later. The next thing I want to talk about is system bids. We've been getting a lot of questions on system bids. About a month ago, there was about 57 bids down to Dallas, and we had a few people from Tulsa take that. That's in your contract book under Article 9. In the M&R book, it's paragraph TT, which is Tango Tango. And in the MLS book, it would be paragraph J, as in Juliet. So the company posts system bid openings on Saturday at, it says 01 in the contract book, so it's 12:01 a.m. every Saturday. That bid closes on Tuesdays, the following Tuesday at 23:59. This is all Central Standard Time. So you have, when that bid closes on that Tuesday, you have 48 hours if you want to refuse that bid. If you do not get in there and decline that offer, you are going to wherever you bid. So that would be the following Thursday. So it closes on Tuesday. Thursday at 23:59, if you haven't gone in there and retracted that and said you do not want to go, you are going. I get phone calls quite often of people 2 weeks after the fact. Now they're saying, I don't want to take that job. If you do not get in there within that 24 hours, you have that job because you put in for it. So please, please, please be aware of what bids you have out there or what transfers you put in for, and make sure you check that on JetNet quite regularly. You can go in there and you can check what bids you have active and make sure you still want to go to those locations.
Can I add something to that, or ask you to add something to it? So I think out of the old contract book that we had, the TW book that wasn't in the IM book, we had transfer list. You could actively put your name on a transfer list, and what, it was once a year that you'd had to re-up or twice. That still exists, right?
Yes, it does.
So can you talk a little bit about that? Because
Well, that's what I'm saying. So you can go into JetNet and look at your active request, and those when you put your name on a transfer list, that will be in your active request. So you can go in there and say, maybe 6 months ago you thought you wanted to go to DC for some reason, and then you also thought, well, you know, Miami would be great, and so would San Diego. Well, then you got to thinking, man, DC, I really don't want to go to DC, but you never take your name off the list. DC is probably the quickest place you're going to get out of those three options. If you don't want the option, make sure you go in there and remove your name from that list. Just make sure you know what you have. I would recommend, if you're in there putting your name on different transfer lists, make sure you're going in there and checking to see exactly where you're at and what you're on that.
Yeah, because there's no advantage to having your name parked on a transfer list. If you're really interested in going to Miami, you could, between Friday at the midnight mark to Tuesday, you could just, on company time, go over, get on JetNet, check to see if there's any openings where you want to go. If there is, put in for it. And then that way you don't get your tail caught in a trap like some of our members, where there was a layoff coming, and they thought, rather than be laid off from here, I'm going to try to bid and go somewhere. That happened. That was a real deal that happened to some of our guys, and they had to go. So.
Okay. The next thing we're going to talk about is Seniority Protest. So the protest is only a 30-day window. So the company has the obligation to post the seniority list once a year. So it's supposed to be by the end of January. This year's seniority list went up February 5th. So from February 5th, you have 30 days to protest if your seniority is incorrect. So I suggest and again, you have to go through careers. And on the bottom of careers, you'll see there's seniority list down there. And you'll open that up and check your seniority every year to make sure that it is correct. And if you want to read about that, that is in Article 11 in your contract book. And in maintenance and related, it's paragraph K as in kilo. And in the MLS book, it's paragraph L as in Lima.
And we had, was it last year? There was a window that opened up. If you wanted to protest your seniority, we put protest forms out there. We collected all that stuff. I signed every one of them. I sent them down to my buddy Raleigh Reeves, who was handling that for the International. He and Mike Bush looked at all of them and sent them on up up the line for determination, and I know for a fact that no one has made that determination and no one has contacted back to you to see if your appeal was accepted or denied. And we are continuing to ask the question, when is that going to be resolved? Because even though this window's opened up, we are going to say that you still deserve the answer on your original appeal, and to duplicate that through this protest opportunity wouldn't serve any purpose. So if you feel like there is a reason when you look at this seniority list that there should be a difference from the last time that you looked at it, please reach out to one of the officers here or one of the shop stewards, and we will help you get that protest to Mark Nelson, which is where he's a guy down at headquarters that's going to, we're going to send all those to. So that's all I wanted to add about that.
Okay.
You good?
I'm done.
All right. So for me, I believe I had Al post a video on warn notices. As you know, we're recalling people from the PSP2, hoping that there's going to be a 3, and without the knowledge of and the certainty of knowing that, the company is by law obligated to send out these warn notifications, of which, if you'll just look at my video, it should be circling around where this video is going to be posted at. You can listen to me babble on about 5 or 6 minutes on warn notifications. Those that accrued vacation in 2020 and were not allowed to take it, it is still the position of the company that they are auditing everybody's records, and as soon as that report is made available to Mr. Brickner, they will be able to tell us at what date and time that they will be able to pay everybody out for their accrued 2020 vacation that they were not allowed to take. PSP2, pay difference. We have folks that through the furlough took a job that the pay scale was less than where they came from, and the question is, should they be made whole from December 1st to present until they can get recalled back and go back to the pay scale they were at prior to the furlough? That question is being pushed by Mr. Gary Peterson at the International to the company to ask for that. We here have also reached out to Frank Fraser down at Fraser & Fraser, our attorneys that we use, our labor attorneys, and I've asked him to draft a memo for me and give me his legal opinion, so we are waiting on that. On the PSP2, true up or pay difference. Grievance meetings, talked to Kendall before we started this video. He said, hey, just include something about the grievance meetings. The company is willing now to sit down. Mr. Ed Sangrico says Dale will set a week aside for every director, and we are going to work some of these grievances down. So Kendall and the officers are actively trying to make sure that the grievances that you may have filed currently under the new contract or under the old contract have enough data and information in the actual grievance itself that we can actually argue the merits around the grievance. So they're actively trying to get prepared to sit down with the company and see if we can't resolve some of these grievances, because they are piling up, folks. One of the things that I'm trying to make arguments for is a little thing I like to call helper crew chiefs. Can I see your book, Marla? In this book, it does mention a senior and a junior crew chief. So if you show up on a given day, you're a crew chief. I'm a crew chief. Joe does a debt swap, something, whatever reason Joe lands on the same shift I'm on, and he's there in my bid location and all that, and he's less senior than me. So I would be the junior crew chief when we're talking about who's going to do the crew chief function that day. The company is saying right now, if I hear them correctly, they want to bring a group of crew chiefs into bid areas and locations and maybe put them on the seniority roster where you're like, hey, I'm going to bid this location, and instead of being one crew chief, and 16 people, 4 to 16, there may be 2 crew chiefs and 10 people. And the day that the senior crew chief is gone, they won't fill him with an overtime known outage if he's gone for vacation. They want to put I call it helper crew chief. They want to put the helper crew chief. They want to bring him off the bench and put him in. And I'm not for it. I think they're going to try to pull everything they can, every little word they can, hang on everything that they can to say that we're going to have helper crew chiefs. I don't believe our international rep, Mr. Gary Peterson, is in line with what I'm being told by the company here on how they would use helper crew chiefs. They would utilize the helper crew chief when the senior crew chief was gone, and the rest of the time put him working as a basic. So I'm curious as to if they post new crew chief jobs around here because they want to get out of paying overtime to crew chiefs for known outage. That's what they're trying to do, and I will use every cuss word I have to at them to call bullshit on it. So if you start feeling like they're doing helper crew chiefs out there, I'd like to know about it. So in closing, that's some of the things that we wanted to bring to you, give you heads up about, and just let you know we're available. If you got something, please contact your shop steward. They'll get a hold of an officer, and we'll try to help you where we can. And did I miss anything? Y'all want to add anything? Good?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Y'all have a good day.